Welcome back, listeners, for the second half of our discussion on Solo, a Star Wars story. Remember, in the future, you can get all these episodes early and uncut without ads at patreon.com/worstpeople for only $3 a month. Enjoy the episode. Like a trilogy of movies. Like if I just jumped in and watched Empire Strikes Back,
you don't want
and I'd never seen anything, I'd be a little confused, but I would get it.
You're not going to know what happens in Beverly Hills Cop 3 unless you watch Pluto Nash. Like it's just, you have to watch another.
Well,
bad example, but
no, good example.
Well, Pluto Nash 3 is a better movie, so you guys don't know.
I was gonna say Beverly Hills Cop 3 might be worse than Pluto Nash. So
not according to this fucking guy.
Beverly Hills Cop 3 is...
It might be my favorite Beverly Hills Cop.
He has said this with a straight face so many times to my fucking face, Derek.
It's not a better movie.
But he likes it
So then
more.
they go to a sexy cocktail party.
Ooh, the sexy
cocktail party.
We're going to move on from that.
Oh, I got something to bring up to you because we've brought it up on other episodes.
Fifth Element.
Yes, no. The chick,
this is very fifth
the chick
element.
that has a visor for a top, for the top of her
Oh,
head.
yes, that's super cool.
I got to rewatch.
So do you know who in the comic books that is a fucking victim of Dr. Cornelius?
Oh, really?
Yeah, Dr. Cornelius is a pig-faced dude. It's like I'm wanted on 12 systems. We mentioned on an episode that like
I didn't know that was Dr. Cornelius.
His behind-the-scenes stuff is like he was a plastic surgeon / scientist that just started going evil scientist.
He's like, I'm the hottest person on this planet. He's got like a pig nose and
look at this. This is what people should look like.
You don't even have a nose. I cut off the top half of your head.
But yeah, this is a survivor of he would replace your brain with computers that made you his personal slave.
Okay, well,
like very
that part did look cool. The girl with the top half of the head missing, it looks very like natural.
Yeah.
Oh, but
for lack of a better word,
it's a bot. It's a robot.
No. That's
so she's a person who's been
that
turned,
he replaced her brain with
like
a computer,
cyborg, basically,
or a Walkman.
But like this whole sexy cocktail party, like there's the girl singing
Stupid
off
sexy
tune,
cocktail.
which is apparently a space thing because they do in Fifth Element also.
It's like jazz, just sing the wrong notes.
But like
play a vibraphone or
Woody Harrelson, Beckett tells Han at one point, he's like, just, these people aren't your friends. They'll never be your friends. Keep your eyes down. Don't talk to anybody and go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
And then Han immediately starts talking to Kira because she sees him there.
Because
I work here.
Yeah.
Not mentioning
That's the mother of dragons.
Breaker of chains. Dude.
I wish I knew more of her credits because in that show, it's like Mother of Dragons, Breaker of Chains, Freer of such and such, a Liberator.
This is Jon Snow.
and
this
Jon
is
Snow.
Edward Snowden. And,
he's a guy. Yeah,
this is Jon Snowden. Edward, shit. I gave up your cover, man.
He does. Solo does track her tattoo of the Crimson Dawn.
She like Google goggles it.
I know that image. Google goggles, which you can't say sober and not sound drunk.
Google goggles.
Just give me a quick Google goggle
I think
image.
they changed it to Google Lens because they heard us drunkenly just AIing us. Google goggles.
Hey, Google goggle.
Like, all right, Google Lens.
Yeah, Google Translate is like, I don't know what Google Gaga is.
What the fuck are they saying to me?
I can't translate
Google
baby
goggles.
speak.
Yeah.
Only real languages.
So Dryden Voss, played by Paul Bettany.
Paul Bettany.
These things on his face I thought were scars until today.
So he didn't know they were there.
Yeah.
Those were not added until post.
Okay.
So
that was not part of his mask, and it looks good because I can't tell they were imposed.
He is what they call a near human, where his race is not human. They just look like it. Those things on his face are his circulatory system. And if you notice, the more angry he gets, the more he's doing shit, the more vibrant they are.
Yeah, you see that because and I didn't notice it the first time watching it.
This is today the first time I fucking noticed
But
it.
when he gets pissed off, they turn bright red. And so do his eyes, though. His eyes get bloodshot. And then when he calms down, it goes away.
I thought it was a being trained by Darth Maul thing because we see him with these. He kills somebody as soon as we see him, and he's got this like brass knuckle with a blade on each side that glows red like a vibro blade.
That's the.
I
being
like
trained
those.
by-
I like.
Oh, I
those-
like him too. I'm not complaining. Sorry, I just think that like that's your handheld Darth Maul tool.
Yeah, no, I like those blades though. They're pretty fucking sick.
Very cool, and it's not a lightsaber. It's a different technology, but
I do like right before they meet Dryden Voss though. First, there's two things. One, Han is talking to Kira, and she's like, "What should we toast to?" And he's like, "Or what should we drink to?" And he says, "Let's drink to and see what happens."
I like it.
Yeah.
It's a good line. And then
That's a Han
also,
Solo
This is the
line.
pleasure
Yes.
yacht, guys.
And then
This
also
is-
cut to fucking Chewie just looking around and being like, "One drink for me, one drink for me." Like, he's just pounding drinks.
Dude, you know how much it would take for like Chewie's
Wait, was this
size and
Chewie? As soon
stature?
as he heard the 2 drinks, he's like 1, 2, like instantly. He's like,
Say
oh,
less,
2.
fam. Say
Yeah.
less, fam.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's like Andre the Giant trying to fucking drink.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Chewie. Anybody want a peanut?
And then, yeah, with Dryden Voss, who Paul Bettany, who if people don't know, you probably know as Vision from the Marvel
You
universe.
should know him. I think your wife would agree. From Last Night, The Last Night. Yeah, he's the announcer for Heath Ledger.
Oh.
My lords and
Oh, that's a
ladies.
Is that
beautiful
not
one.
Last
That's
Night, Black
beautiful.
Knight?
That's a
No,
beautiful-
that's Martin Lawrence. Is it Last Night?
No, Knight's Tale.
Knight's Tale. Okay, I don't know that one. That was.
I was
befo-
thinking the Jet song. Last night.
That, I thought you were talking
That's a
about
stroke
Transformers.
song, but
I was thinking of the Jet song. Are you gonna go my way? I was thinking of the Jet song, Benny and the Jets.
But he was also in a movie called Legion, which is a really cool movie. Not the X Men.
Oh, he's the priest.
Yeah, I
It's
was
a
gonna say, not
futuristic-
the X Men Hulu show.
You like that one?
I like that movie.
That's a guilty pleasure of mine that I do like, but I don't think I'm supposed to.
With like where they're all stuck at the gas station
Uh-huh.
and like the Archangel Michael comes, or he's Michael. The other
It's
one,
Gabriel,
Gabriel,
which
comes.
played by I want to say Kevin Durand.
Kevin Durant.
Kevin
Man, he's a
Durand.
great basketball player.
Dude, yeah, terrible actor.
but it's like
Unless he's
showdown.
getting fouled.
It's like showdown at the end of the world at a gas station with angels and demons,
Yeah.
and like
All right.
I
Oh.
really enjoy that movie.
It might be. So Ryan has a thing where he would have hated that movie when it came out, but it's about what
For, like,
14 years old now,
blockbusters, yeah.
maybe.
Oh, at least, yeah.
Especially
So now he might actually
theater
like
releases.
it. Yeah.
I despised them from 98.
Okay, those are two different things.
to
It was a
2010.
theater release.
And now.
Blockbuster, it
So
was not.
forever.
Yeah.
I was one of the 11 and a half people who saw that in theaters.
I was the half.
There was a guy who went and saw it in theaters and then asked for a refund, and they only gave him half because he waited 40 minutes.
That was Jack.
I just give me whatever you want, dude.
I saw that movie in theaters.
You
and
tell
I've-
me what
and
you
I've
think this
watched it
movie's
since
worth.
then.
I need a moral victory. Give me a penny. You give me $1 and
Let
I
me
leave.
just give me a bag of popcorn. I'll leave. It's worth more than my
Give me a
ticket.
bag of butter. I'll make my own popcorn. Idiots.
But this is when we find out that Kira is his top lieutenant. She doesn't just work there. She's kind of his right hand man.
She's
right hand
the what's the
queen
top
of dragons.
bitch?
She's the bad bitch.
She's top bitch.
She the bottom bitch. What they
Bottom
call it
bitch.
actually, Jack.
Oh,
Bottom bitch. That's what
Gotta-
is the top bitch.
Yeah, tell him about that.
That's
Pimp
weird.
top.
Yeah.
I don't like that. It's like
No.
golf.
Well, when you're a pimp, you just like demean everyone around you. So
Am I a pimp?
So there's this whole back and forth about what they're going to do about this coaxium, and it comes down to, well, we can get some unrefined coaxium from Kessel on
Kessel
the
mines.
spice mines on Kessel, underneath the spice mines on Kessel, I think is
Yeah.
what they say.
Because it is they do go down the tunnels into the vault.
So it's like, so Kessel is just a fucked up planet, right? Because it's like, it's inside of this perpetual space storm, and it's the only place you can get spice and fucking...
not the
because
only
you're
place you get spice.
gravitating all these
Okay.
good ass
There
minerals
are-
all in one area.
It's the storm that provides...
well, what
It's
pressure
the storm
pressure
that
makes
provides.
diamonds, dude. Pressure makes diamonds, and apparently maelstroms make Kessel.
So we've always thought of spice. Han as a spice smuggler, thinking it's more drug-like than
Well,
accelerant.
spice
But it is. It is.
Spice
Spice
is.
druggy?
Spice is a drug.
Okay.
There are at least like
Okay.
8 to 12 different types of spice.
So this
But
unrefined
the
fuel
unrefined
is a totally
coaxium
different-
is
completely different
underneath the
thing.
spice mines.
Yep.
So this planet was just doomed for pillaging from day one.
So there are a bunch of different types of spice. Some do this, some do that. The one they're going for here is the closest to, like, I guess I would say heroin, where it's just like I feel.
It's like
I
they
feel-
can't get spice from Arrakis, so Dune lied to me.
No, well, Arrakis doesn't exist in this universe.
Oh,
my
okay. Sorry,
friend.
different space universe.
Space
Damn,
worms,
they're
you
out.
hate 'em,
They're
right?
out. Star Wars and me. Shit.
No, that's Dune.
Okay. Yeah, they're out. Star Wars.
Yeah,
and
he
me.
out Star
David
Wars.
Lynch just wrote
I'm
a
just
different.
saying, Lady Proxima was in Dune. I mentioned that earlier.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Sure. Fucking
Judy
Dune
bitch.
fanboy.
I don't know that good.
Have we got a podcast for you?
Bad movies, worst people.
I mean, look, you like getting a couple beers in you, watching a bad movie, and yucking it up with your friends. That's what we're doing. We have microphones.
We have great impersonations. We have bad impersonations.
I think it might be one of the best podcasts I've ever heard.
It's the best podcast I've ever heard, fellas, and I ain't lying through my giant teeth. There's a sample.
Yes.
You can find us anywhere. Badmoviesworstpeople.com. Come check us out.
If you don't follow us, we will follow you home.
But yeah, so they do. They have to go to Kessel, and they need a ship. So how are you gonna get a ship? I know a guy. And Kira is starting talking about.
Right before that, I just love Han. It's another cocky moment for Han because she's like, "We need a pilot. We need a ship," and he's like, "All you need is a ship, baby."
Hey, listen here, bitch.
right here.
You got a pilot.
Which he hasn't really proven himself at this point.
Was he trained as a pilot in?
He could drive speeders, so he thought he was a pilot.
Since he was
No,
a little
so no,
kid.
he did no ship pilot.
I think
that we know.
that
they-
we know
in
of.
the-
Well,
I think
no.
they implied that in the Imperial Academy he
Yeah.
was training to be a
Academy.
pilot, but he got Academy.
The Academy.
I've been drinking whiskey. This is Han took shots.
That's
first.
where I send my cat, by the way, is Academy. Learn to be a better
He-
feline.
He got kicked out for being a shithead, but he was being trained. But I mean, he already thought he was a great pilot because I'm assuming
You know what
because
it
he
is?
was a great speeder pilot.
He stole speeders, like you said, and he fucking did simulations. He's like, I'm a great pilot.
I'm the
How do you
best
know?
pilot.
I did simulators of the fucking Imperial
Well, and he
Academy.
does say he grew up in those ships because his dad worked in the Carillion mine or the.
Oh, he
Carillion
calls it out right
shipyards.
away. He's like, this is a YT 2300, whatever. I'm forgetting the numbers,
I used
but
to target wombats
Yeah.
with that in my.
I
used to target wombats with
my T16. That's no bigger than a wombat.
And why'd you do it as Steve Zahn?
I don't know, because I don't do a good Mark Hamill. Oh, I used to fucking target those wombats.
Wombats in my T16, man.
T16. Oh, I was supposed to go to the Tasha station.
Why
and
does it
pick
sound
up batteries.
sarcastic when you say it, Steve?
Steve Zahn is Luke Skywalker would totally fuck his sister. I'm your sister. I know. Oh,
Old Ben, do you think that could be Obi-Wan Kenobi?
Wait, don't say that yet. Now what were you saying? I'm your sister.
but yeah, no, I think he's driven done a
kissed
bunch
her.
of flight simulations. He's like, yeah, I'm a fucking great pilot, you idiots.
I mean, it's not that different than Anakin in Episode 1 and etc. He's like, I'm a
Yippee!
great pilot. Yippee, indeed. I'm a great pilot. All he's driven at that point is pod racers.
Pause. Yeah, true. All right, valid.
I mean, I guess
He has
because
more.
you're in a floating vehicle, it's somewhat similar to driving in space.
it's just lift versus drag versus rotation, motherfucker. Sorry, it's me, myself, and Irene.
Yeah, yep.
Can't fly a helicopter. It's not that fucking hard. It's just lift versus drag versus rotation, motherfucker. Yeah, but now we're getting to the best casting in maybe anything past 4, 5, and 6. Lando Calrissian.
I thought you were talking about the battle bots.
Oh, I like the BattleBots.
So there's battle bots.
Oh,
We'll
no,
move
sorry.
past
Best
that.
casting ever. Clint Howard running a BattleBots ring.
Oh, is it Clint Howard?
And you know what?
You
That's-
betcha.
That's my.
Shit,
that's
my
my.
wife was talking.
That's the biggest reason that I'm happy that Ron Howard took over because Clint Howard wouldn't have been in this movie.
The
if
second
Ron
that he
Howard
popped
hadn't-
up, and I knew he was in it, but just this rewatch, I'm like, well, Derek's happy.
Is he like an
fucking
old
love
yokel,
Clint Howard.
like just looking?
He's
like,
the one running.
Yeah.
He only belongs in Alabama, not this.
Oh
Planet
yeah,
that
he's
on.
running the BattleBot arena, and he's got like this
God.
long, scraggly mullet, like he's
Oh.
bald in the front and long hair in the back, and he's just screaming some crazy redneck shit. I fucking love Clint
Roll
Howard.
Tide. What? Roll Tide.
Roll
Like
Tide.
we'll see it later on our other show, Bad Movies, Worst People. Later this year, we're going to be
Wraith
talking
or
about
no?
no,
Is it Wraith?
no,
We're going
not
to do
yet.
that, but Tick.
Not yet.
Oh.
Wraith will probably show up.
He's in Wraith. It's
Made
a
for
real weird
Made
bald
in
guy
Arizona
in
month.
'85. So.
But in a movie called Ticks with Seth Green,
Ooh.
he's fucking great in that, and he's also great in Ice Cream Man. He's great in a lot of things. I love Clint Howard.
Yeah, I like Clint Howard, too. He's the
I
better.
remember him in this.
He's the
sadly.
stronger Howard.
Yeah.
And I mean arm wrestling.
Not directorial.
No,
Like,
he puts his hat backwards, like fucking over the top, and he fucking slams Ron's hand down.
Personally, I think Clint is the better actor.
He says, Opie
But-
Cunningham.
He doesn't.
Opie Cunningham.
He plays the same character over and over, like a crazy dude. But he's so good at it. Ron Howard is just like, well, I'm in this, I guess.
I'm a good old American boy.
Yeah. Clint Howard is just like, I'm a deranged redneck, and you're
Yeah.
like, I'm in.
I'm a
dude.
3-year-old god
He
from another
plays it
world.
well.
Yeah.
He plays it well.
Yeah. All the way from his first role, man. Clint Howard.
We got to protect Clint Howard, dude.
Clint Howard for president.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. He can at least act better.
He's better than any choices we have. I think
No
Ron
shit.
DeSantis dropped out, but he'd still be better than him.
Melania Howard. Melania Howard. I like the way it sounds.
Sounds fucking great. Got a ring to it. Anyway, so we
Anyway,
meet
yes,
Lando Calrissian
Calrissian
playing
Donald
Sabacc,
Glover.
which, by the way, we can buy a Sabacc deck and learn how to play it.
I
I know
so
you're
in.
excited, Jack.
I am so in because I was watching this game and I was like, I think I kind of get it.
If you play,
You're like replaying the subtitles. Just you're like, you got it, kid. You got 1 over the 2. Okay, 1 over the 2.
so
Look,
if you
need an
play,
extra green Sabacc to get a something.
No, it's
Add to
the green
notes,
Cylon.
Damn it.
Cylon.
if you
Cylon?
play,
Did they say Cylon?
Sabacc the
Something like
Gathering.
that.
Like,
Because if they
this
said
is-
Cylon, that's definitely just Battlestar Galactica.
might be Cylon. But if you play Knights of the Old Republic 1 or 2, you will play.
Oh.
You can play
This is Sabacc.
Sabacc.
in
Or no,
Knights-
is that Pazak?
Oh, it's Pazak.
Fuck,
Yeah,
it's
I think
Pazak.
it's Pazak.
Pazak is a weird
Ooh.
one where it's like
so
minus
altered rules.
altered rules, different decks. dude.
Pazak is really good in Knights of the Republic.
I
Yes,
played
yes,
Knights of the
I-
Republic, but I played it when I had an Xbox, so it's been a while.
Oh, okay. Well, either way, we'll learn how to play this.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna
Dude,
win
if
your
you can buy a
ship.
Sabacc deck and it
I'm gonna
comes
get
with
Derek's
rules-
car off of him, dude.
Dude, this is tune into our YouTube channel. Tune into the Bad Movies Worst People YouTube channel for me and Jack playing Sabacc and not understanding what we're doing.
We'll
They're
figure it out
playing
on
for a
camera.
Lando speeder. I don't know what that is, but they're playing for one.
Lando Speeder is when I buy a meth pill from a guy that looks like.
But you dress in a
this is-
cape and like really
we do
debonair.
meth. We do meth in silk shirts and capes. It's a Lando Calrissian Speeder, dude.
This is just me and Jack betting. It's Jack's van versus my 2022 Hyundai fucking Santa Fe.
He jokes, but my van is my Millennium Falcon. Like,
It is
for
your van
sure.
Is a
I don't know
Millennium
if you
Falcon.
still have it for the fucking sun shield.
No,
but,
it
but
rotted
it used to
out.
be the Millennium Falcon.
It used
and
to
it
be-
Was great.
it was-
We
So
all
you
know
had
this.
you had the sun.
Oh,
the
yeah.
window
From
screen.
episode 4.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was great.
Anyway,
I love
In
that thing.
Steve-
we are way off. We are way off topic.
But Lando Calrissian, played by Donald Glover, the great Donald Glover.
Yeah.
Childish Gambino.
Community.
Community. He was in Spider-Man: Homecoming for a hot second.
Uh-huh.
Atlanta, which he's fucking great
Hotlanta.
in. If you guys haven't watched Atlanta, I highly recommend watching Atlanta.
Yeah.
I've only seen the first 2 seasons. I never watched the rest, but God damn it, he's good.
And he's great in this, dude. He sounds like a fucking young Lando. I mean, like he is
I did
putting
read
that
a thing.
affectation on the
It doesn't
voice.
sound like he's playing or pandering to the voice.
I did read
He's
a
kinda
thing that
boning
Billy
it.
D was kind of like he was being a Billy D.
Billy D's very egotistical.
So he was like, I mean, he was fine, but he's not Billy D.
yeah.
And I'm like,
Oh,
well, yeah, but
so-
you're also 104, and you're supposed to be 30 at this point.
He wants him
so-
to do the walk hard thing.
I looked it up today, and so his comment was he was like he really like nailed the character, nailed the voice. He did great, but I just wish they wouldn't focus so much on the robot love. And I understand that, but that's like that was Billy D's
Lando
comment,
wanting to
like,
fuck a robot is one of the best parts of this movie.
yes, Lando
I'm
is.
not gonna disagree.
Lando's pansexual. Men, women, robots, aliens, anything
Billy
that can
D.
consent
Williams-
to sex, he is gonna fuck.
Billy D. Williams, I guess, was not having that in the plot.
Did you ever
And
see?
I want to see Billy D. Williams, or sorry, Lando Calrissian, just fuck his way across the galaxy. I'll watch that sex tape.
Well, and it starts with the robot.
Do you ever see Cheech and Chong Corsican Brothers?
Yes.
When he says he's trisexual,
Uh-huh.
He'll try anything.
sexual.
That's Lando.
that's Lando.
in a sexy, classy way.
I'm fine with him fucking a
And I
robot,
do
dude.
love though, right
Yeah,
off the bat.
and it wasn't him. It was implied. It wasn't definitive.
no, and like they never say like it's just, but they
you
I
have to
love
get in there and do that thing.
do that thing. You
There's
do.
some great lines coming up with all this.
But
love,
right
so
off the
I'll-
bat, fucking Lando, he's like, "I'm Han," and he's like, "Hey, Han." He does
It's
which-
Han,
yeah.
but it's okay.
Yeah,
It's
and
Casa Grande,
It's a
damn
great
it.
throwback. That's a throwback to the original trilogy that I'll appreciate. Like he's like Han because he doesn't give a fuck about Han Solo at first. He's like, "No, you're Han.
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself."
It's spelled Han. I'm gonna call you Han.
Hand Solo.
But I love so they're gambling. They're doing sabacc. Han Solo puts all his chips in, or all of his various types of chips.
Dude, it's so annoying because he's like, however much, I'll raise you whatever this is. I'm like, nobody can tell. You
Yeah,
just
not now.
You just shoved a bunch of things into a pile.
Those Sabak guys know how much it is.
I guess there's a droid just outside, like,
Yeah.
it's a Rain Man droid.
800
yeah,
credits
definitely,
worth.
definitely 16,000 credits, definitely.
Lando tells Han, better quit while you're ahead. And Han tells Lando, better quit while you're not, which is pretty good.
It's a good line.
It's a good line.
And he's got him. I mean, like, Han is a really good Han is a really good
Han.
poker player.
Yeah, because Lando's cheating.
Yeah.
As we
and even
see.
says, like, he shouldn't have had that fucking card. They've all been played.
Well, and they show the thing in his arm.
Uh-huh.
Like the old school fucking Wild West fucking.
But it also shows that Han knows, like, I'm fucking counting cards.
Yeah.
Those are all done.
Like,
There's
those
no
are,
way.
Those green Sabaks were all played or whatever the fuck. There's no way he had that.
Yeah, he didn't have that green Cylon.
Cylon. Whatever
My
he
favorite
says.
5 cards is
There's-
Cylon, Cylon,
And
Cylon,
Cylon.
Cylon, and
He didn't have
Cylon.
a double Sabak, I'll tell you that.
So back to basics.
I do like Han when Lando sees
So
Kira,
back to
he
the
knows
future.
her. And when he sees Beckett, he's like, oh shit, you're Beckett. You killed Aura Singh, who is an EU character. I know that.
But I also pointed her out in episode 1.
Yes, that's why I knew. As soon as he said it, I was like, I know this name. I know Jack told me something. I have forgotten.
She is just during the pod race, she's a minor character. She's got like a shaved head except for like a big thing of dreadlock ponytails at the top. She's very, very white pale, orange skin suit, yada yada. And I brought her up because I said she comes back in the not only EU but the Clone Wars cartoons, and now here we are name dropping her. This movie is trying to be inclusive to a bunch of all the Star Wars, and I think they're mostly doing
And
it
that's
well.
good for the upcoming generation because
Agreed.
that might
'Cause
be
they've
how they
watched
know
that.
it is Clone Wars.
Exactly.
Because if
You know,
if I'm
they're
watching,
not watching fucking A New Hope through Return. They're not
right?
watching.
Well, they
those.
will eventually.
they'll watch them
They will
eventually,
eventually.
but they're watching the cartoons that are on fucking Disney.
Yeah.
But just think, if I'm watching this, and go, oh, Aura Singh, I know that name. Imagine these people that grew up watching the Clone Wars cartoon, like, fuck yeah, I
Yeah,
know
they're like,
Aura
here's their
Singh.
call
Well,
out.
and I love his
Yeah.
thing because he's like, well, all I did was push her.
You killed her.
Beckett says, all I did was push her. I think the fall killed her.
Well, you did a bunch of people a favor that day,
Oh
mostly
yeah,
me.
yeah. he's
She
like,
I owed her a
I
bunch of
lot
money.
And then we meet L337. This is
Ooh,
L3 for most
voiced
of
by
this.
Phoebe.
Phoebe Waller-Bridge. So that means she's worked with both Han Solos because she was, I think it was Henrietta.
It's Martin Brody's daughter, and you probably haven't seen it, Dial of Destiny.
yeah, in Dial of Destiny.
Oh,
Indiana
no.
Jones,
Say her
Dial
name.
of Destiny.
She's in
Yeah,
Dial of
she's
I
in
Destiny.
want to say her
that.
name was Henrietta.
My wife's favorite
I
movie.
think.
Yeah.
But she was in that. So she's worked with both Han Solos now.
Yeah,
So that's cool.
that's
Because
something.
this is her. This isn't her in a booth doing a voice. She's in
In
a
the
green
suit?
screen costume wearing the bot parts on the green screen
Nice.
costume.
Fantastic.
And then
Okay,
the bot,
it
and
makes
then
it
the green
more
screen,
relatable.
and then the costume is obviously CG'd
Do
out
you know
to
when
be
you
replaced
notice
with
it
pieces.
coming up right now when they actually get into the Falcon? When she gets into the seat,
You can
it's-
hear like the movement.
No,
or the way-
when she whips her legs over, you would only do that if you were there trying to fit into a seat.
Yeah,
Like
Not
otherwise
what
you'd have
about-
a.
and I mean,
typically
obviously
do.
they do
Yeah.
her head.
Yeah.
Her head turns all the way around to talk to people and stuff, and that's obviously all
Sure,
CG.
but the
like,
blocking
yeah,
is all
the
done by
blocking
her.
of her. She's really there on set, which is cool.
Yeah.
Phoebe Waller-Bridge, by the way, I have to mention because at least one of our Bad Movies Worst People listeners, who's also been on the show, Classy Alcoholic,
Uh huh.
he'll get mad at me if I don't mention that she was the star of Fleabag,
Yes.
which is
This
one
is
of
where
his-
Ryan and his wife knew her from.
Fleabag
Yes.
he's told me more than a dozen times that it's like one of the best shows that's ever been created by humanity.
Great series.
So-
Maybe 2 seasons. Great series.
Yeah, I think it was
British
only 2.
BBC. Not
Oh,
BBC,
so I
but
might as well watch it if it's only 2 fucking seasons.
Yeah, and she was in Broadchurch with David Tennant, who was a doctor.
Uh huh.
So and that's where I knew her from before.
There's
Dial
some
of
good
Destiny,
sassy.
but-
When he says a doctor,
Yeah.
he means
Deliverer.
of Doctor Who.
Doctor Who,
not
sorry.
a real life
Ah,
doctor.
BBC
no,
doctor.
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
Any doctor
they're
from
trash.
BBC. No, they're
don't
not.
let this fucking idiot tell you
Jack is
otherwise.
wrong. Doctor
I
Who
like
is
boring
great.
shit.
I'm
There,
wrong about
bring
a
it
lot
on.
of stuff, not doctor. All right, there's only one doctor, and it's fucking Dr. Hank McCoy.
I thought you were
I
going
thought
to
you
say
were going to
Queen
say Dr.
Medicine Woman.
Mangala, and you were going to reveal to us all that you were a Nazi.
I'm just gonna go real deep cuts. It's like one doctor is Dr. Mangala.
Anyway,
Yeah, no, Phoebe
Phoebe Waller-Bridge, she's great.
She
she's
is
funny.
killing it. I love a sassy droid, a dysfunctional droid. I love all these droids.
But the behind the scenes stuff revealed to me that like her design and stuff came from the fact that like so her whole backstory kind of is that she started as kind of like an R2 droid,
Okay,
but
astromech.
had taken like the pieces from that and added it onto something else. Like she had upgraded herself. So like her top part, her
okay.
eye and stuff, like the lens and everything.
Yeah.
And they ended up changing it a little bit, but it's supposed to be part of like the top of like an R2 droid.
That makes a little bit of sense.
And then she
her
had
optical sensor, whatever.
she had
says
upgraded
dysfunction.
herself to become better and better.
Okay, so I want to say something about that we've talked about before. R2 is very snippy because he's never had a memory wipe. Lando
She-
says in this, I would
Yes.
wipe her memory, but she has the best
Star map.
star
pretty
map,
much.
yeah, star
Yeah.
map in the galaxy. So this is why people are wiping their droids' memories because they become too sentient.
And that's I guess as I get older, that's the loveliness of this play into Millennium.
Yes.
Because when I saw it in 19, I didn't give a fuck. I'm like, this is the backstory you're filling in.
Yeah,
And now as
sure.
I'm just older and more sentimental, I'm like,
She's a part of the ship, dude. Oh man.
And they do say like, well, so like when she gets plugged into the Millennium Falcon a little bit here, which happens.
Whoa, spoilers.
Yeah,
That's my job.
we've done that.
We reveal that Darth Maul's in there, but we don't spoil that she becomes part of the ship.
The Millennium Falcon doesn't make its like trademark beeps and boops until she becomes part of the ship.
Uh-huh.
And I noticed earlier today, it was the first time I really connected it. I was watching it with my wife and I was like, do you remember? And she's like, no. But do you remember in episode like 4 or 5, probably 4,
Do you remember?
when C-3PO is trying to interface with Millennium Falcon and he's like, it's pretty fucking rude.
Yeah.
Well,
nice.
there you go.
Here we
Okay,
go, yeah.
Really good.
That's again somebody
Really
watching,
good.
like just doing a little bit of fucking work that
Yeah.
matters.
Yeah,
Little
like
retcon.
like oh hey slave droid, and he's like, I'm not a slave. What the fuck this bitch
Bitch,
just
what
say?
you just fucking say to me? You've had your memory wiped. You've had a
I
restrainer
speak
bolt.
moof milk. You better calm down, right?
You moof milker.
But yes, so we see the Millennium Falcon for the first time, and it's very different than the original.
Pristine, clean. He even says
This is off the lot, Millennium Falcon.
I missed this part.
Not even. Oh, it's
Is
gorgeous.
it shiny and
Oh, it's
beautiful?
white.
It's
and there's-
shiny. It's got blue paint on top, which you've never seen before.
Yeah.
The front part, that's like the little.
It's
kinda it looks like a pincer in the original, where there's
called-
like
okay,
that
yeah, that
opening
little
part.
It's called the front
That's-
mandible, dude.
But that's all filled in. Like there's like satellite dishes and stuff on it that are definitely not.
So do you
there
know why
later.
it's filled in?
So they could tear it apart in this movie.
That's the escape pod.
Oh,
And
Is
he
it?
says,
Okay.
he says, I fit the front mandible to an escape pod because that front pod. The reason the Millennium Falcon is designed the way it is because you can grab a load with that front part and that cockpit off to the side. Your view is not obscured. That's the whole design of Millennium.
I've
Well,
got a boner, but I'm also listening.
that's how I like my audience. Hope you're all hard. But yes, so he's basically saying I'm not going to use this as a freighter. I'm going to use this as there's my escape hatch.
Okay.
Because I'm in some
Smuggling
shady
I
stuff.
did catch him
Smuggling
saying
is
he
good, you
added
got
the
this.
escape pod. I didn't catch
Yeah.
that it was in the front. But it's funny because Lando is trying to negotiate for his part. He's like, he wants half. Beckett gets him down to 25. And then they get there and it's basically got a fucking parking boot on it.
It's good, dude. Star Wars parking boot.
And he's like, you can get that off, right, Beckett? And Beckett's like, yeah, for 5% of your cut. And I love Lando's line. Donald Glover delivers this amazingly. He's like, I don't like it. I don't accept it, but I'm okay with it. Or I don't like it. I'm not okay with it, but I accept it. is what
Yeah,
he says.
yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
Because he's like, this is wrong, and I go fuck yourself.
but I'm
also,
screwed
let's get
without
the-
you
let's get
right
the
now.
fuck outta here.
So,
Well, and the parking boot being on the ship was not something we were
so to
expecting.
Derek's
Yeah,
point of this
exactly.
We're
being
like,
a new,
it is docked in the bay. It's ready
Oh,
to
it's in
go,
an impound
guys.
yard.
Oh, they had to break in.
It's an impound
You
yard.
see, when
And then
L3
he's like, you have experience with this,
when
right?
L3's trying to break in, and she pulls out her little like R2 dick blade, and she's like, "Don't look at me. I can't perform while you're watching."
I can feel you looking at
Yeah,
me.
and she's like squatting, and the blade is cutting, and she's like, "I can feel you looking at me." It's just so weird.
She's so
It's odd.
personified. Like, she has her own,
Oh, she's personable as fuck.
Yes.
Memory wipes. Them getting
Memory
onto
wipes,
this
bitch.
Millennium Falcon, I love how clean this looks. It's new. This is beautiful Star Wars to me. This is a ship that is gorgeous, and I like the set they built for it.
You know the layout. You've been on a model of it.
Been here
like-
before, but now you're seeing it not used.
And
yeah.
during the behind the scenes stuff, they showed some clips from like the sequel trilogy, and you can see how dilapidated the inside has become.
Uh-huh.
And I never really connected all the things because it's it's years between watching these things. But watching they show the Lando fight interior, which is like all that the white plush walls and the yellow leather and all that stuff. And then they showed clips from the sequel trilogy and everything is like dilapidated and falling apart. And it's like you could just see that it's an RV. Lando bought this RV in the 70s when it was cool.
So you're saying Spaceballs had it right, dude. This
Exactly,
fucking Winnebago.
exactly,
You're
Spaceballs.
saying this Winnebago's seen some better days
Because he sold it to fucking Han, and Han's like, dude, whatever, man. Can I sleep?
Yeah,
It's fine.
yeah.
I'm not keeping up this leather.
I mean, you're not wrong. This is an RV. This is like a long haul trucker RV.
And during this whole thing is when Beckett tells Han, like, just assume that everybody will betray you, which is an important line.
It is an important.
It comes back.
Yeah.
And also Han and Kira start making out in Lando's
Cloakroom.
cloak closet.
Yeah. That's a cloakroom.
Is that the same place where Mark Hamill and fucking Carrie Fisher made out?
No, that was an infirmary. He was laying down on a bench of sorts.
That's right. He was recovering, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
on Hoth or
No, I think it was. I don't even know if it was the Millennium Falcon. It might have been.
No,
one
the
of
first time they kiss is on the Millennium Falcon. I was recently watching the movies
Okay.
because we got those definitely not bootleg
Yeah.
4K versions.
Oh, I love those. That's so beautiful. It goes to charity.
It does. And it goes to St. Jude.
St. Jude.
I had to pay
Please
money.
make those
I pay
kids
money
glad.
to
don't
St.
make them sad.
Sing
You take a sick child.
and make them better.
I don't think they can cure cancer, but they could try.
There's no cure for cancer. Dennis Leary's stand-up taught me that.
Humor is the cure for cancer. If you guys
You're
didn't
cured.
know.
Now they get to, or almost to Kessel. It's the Maelstrom.
Uh-huh.
It's basically a big space storm with a hole in it.
Because he says, like, what's so, you just jump and you're there. What's so hard about that? He's like, no, you can't jump directly there. You have to jump near it.
And even
then-
here, Lando mentions you have to get to the Maelstrom, you have to get past the Maw and whatever. But the Maw is like way inside the Maelstrom, so it's not part of the problem.
it's part of the problem because if you go too close, it sucks everything in.
But if you take the path that's dictated, you're not anywhere near the Maelstrom.
No.
So it's
I
like
would
his
say,
path through the
So
space
the Maelstrom
storm
is the storm and the Maw is the heart of the storm.
is
Okay, the whole
it's
Kessel
big
Run
black
thing.
hole.
the whole Kessel Run thing is supposed to be 20 parsecs instead of 12, which is a measurement of distance, not time.
Yeah.
Which-
Think about it this way. From here to Phoenix is how many miles?
140.
140 as the highway goes. But if you just off-roaded it and went straight there, you're like, dude, I made it to Phoenix in 90 miles.
Well, and exactly that's I told Whitney
Not if you're
when we
time
watched
bending and space bending though.
But that's not what it's doing. That's what I
When I-
assumed before
Yeah,
this movie.
it's
Before this
showing
movie,
you that it's-
I thought that they were going closer to black holes, which would kind of like help you skip time and distance. But no, it's
No.
straight up like we were off-roading.
when I started watching this movie a couple weeks ago, and I was talking to Whitney about it when we were watching it, I was like, this movie exists to explain the fact that George Lucas doesn't know that a parsec is a measurement of distance and not time.
yeah.
Because I made the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs. Well, that's a distance. That's a measurement of distance. So in this, they say you can't make it in less than 20, period, because you have to take this path, and he cuts through the Maelstrom.
He off-roads.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it was
Like,
a time
It's
indicator
just
back in the day.
this movie exists.
it wasn't a
because
time indicator. George Lucas he's always Lucas
George
has
Lucas
said,
knew that parsec sounds like a space word.
Yes, and he has said many times, I care less about the science and more about the shot and the story.
Hey, it's a parsec. Go fuck yourself.
Have a parsnip and enjoy a parsec. Fuck you. Give your balls a tug, you tit fucker.
Moving right along.
George Lucas becoming Shorzy is now where it's going.
I'm gonna get Sebulba in this. Give your balls a tug.
Give your balls a tug, you Sebulba fucker. You pod fucker.
Give your balls a tug, you moth milker.
Give your pod a tug, you moof milker. But they're heading into the Maelstrom, and Lando leaves L3 in charge of the ship for a minute. And I just think it's funny because her whole thing this whole time has been like equal rights for droids, right?
Droid
Like
liberation.
at the battles, she's like, you're being exploited or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like, do you need anything? And she's like, I don't know, equal rights. And I just
That
love
is
it.
good.
It's
I don't
Lando
know.
just
If you
rolling
find
his
it in the
eyes
back.
like, okay.
She had a good line during the robot fight. She's like, "You degenerate bio something." Like it's like the equivalent of when gay couples started calling us breeders.
Yes, yeah.
You fucking breeders.
Well,
Like,
just
oh.
in general, organics or something like
Yeah.
that. She's like,
Yeah.
buy my organic master while she's
You
being led
stupid
by,
organic
by-
bios.
There's a conversation between Akira and L3 here where she's like, where L3 is like, hey, I can tell by his heart rate that he really loves you.
Oh my
and she's
God.
like, yeah. And she's like, hey, man, I get it. Lando wants me too. And Kira's like, right? Sure.
This
and she's
scene-
just like, it couldn't work. And Kira's like, but how would that work? And I just love L3 is like, oh, it works.
Oh,
Like
trust
like
me.
this has happened.
I think I love this scene, and because I know Phoebe Waller-Bridge,
Yeah.
because I know her character in Fleabag so well, that it was such a perfect awkward cringe almost.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my God, Mother of Dragons is asking her how do robots and humans fuck. And it's including Lando right now.
And that was the
she's just
day-
like, it works. And,
and
it
that was the
works.
day I learned how robots and dudes fuck.
and it was so awkward that me and Jackson's doing an inside joke.
Such a
That's what happens. But like I did like that.
yeah. No, it was done well. And I don't know this actress outside of a couple things that I don't want to care to mention.
Yeah.
So it did work really well for me as well.
So they get to Kessel, and then Kira's pretending to be whatever who owns these slaves, and Han and Chewie
Oh,
are the
and
slaves.
did you happen to catch Woody Harrelson's outfit playing?
That's what I was
Tool,
going to get to.
her chief.
It's the same outfit that Lando is wearing in Jedi
Uh-huh.
when they're sneaking into.
Woody Harrelson's
Like-
playing her security attaché. No. It's that helmet with the teeth on the mask.
That almost
very-
not
very
bounty hunter,
Tatooine.
but
Oh, yeah,
like
I guess bounty
security,
hunter
like
or-
in between security.
But yeah, it's the exact same one.
which it just
down
implies
to, the
to me
weapon.
that this is a costume that Lando has on the ship.
Uh-huh.
Because when they get there later in episode 6, and they're trying to save Han.
You know what I think? It's like some ancient Weequay warrior's ceremonial armor, and Lando won it in a poker game. So there's some naked Weequay warrior running around without his armor. Weequay warrior.
But it's like all the teeth and all that, so it's,
It's got like
Yeah.
the teeth on the
cool,
mask and stuff, and like and
Predator
I just
helps sculpt
The
that.
Weequay have dreadlocks.
I immediately thought of that, and I was just like, okay, it's
I mean, what it comes down to is somebody loves their Easter eggs, and I'm happy
Yeah.
to have it. This one doesn't feel too bad because Lando's involved with it. If Lando's not involved, it's like, well, what's the connection?
Yeah.
Here's your connection.
well, and so like
It was on board.
they give the slaves, quote unquote, which is Han and Chewie, to the guards, and then she goes off with the guy that's in charge of this thing.
You notice this Pike's like breathing tubes are dripping liquid. It was fucking awesome. His voice modulation is fantastic. The Pikes without their helmet look awful. They look weak. They're fish people, and they're not intimidating. With the helmets on, you look fucking dope and intimidating.
Oh, we
You just
saw
got-
them in Book of Boba Fett.
Yes,
right?
we do.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, they're just fucking these like innocent like fish face bunch of Finding Nemos.
They're infiltrating, as we've seen in Star Wars before. You're the prisoner. Chewie's always got to play the prisoner because he can't sneak in. Fucking dude's 9 feet tall,
Yeah.
so he plays
These
the
Wookiees
prisoner.
are always in chains too. Like just let them by.
They get in there, and basically L3 just kicks off a fucking robot revolution.
Oh yeah, she
Like,
starts popping restraining bolts off of people.
She takes the restraining bolt off the one guy because he won't move out of the terminal she wants.
Uh-huh.
And she's like, "You're free." And he's like, "What the fuck am I supposed to do?" In bleep bloop speak. And she's like, "I don't know. Go free your brethren. Go. I don't give a fuck. I need
Yeah.
this terminal."
Go and be free.
Yeah. And it's like, it's just background chaos to this whole scene. Is just like the droids start going fucking manic and destroying everything, and then they release all the slaves, and so the slaves start going
Well, yeah,
crazy.
downstairs you got fucking. We actually see Chewbacca holding 2 arms. We don't get to see him rip the arms
Yeah.
off of people,
But you assume.
yeah, I mean we hear it.
If these were droids, they're out of the socket.
If
so-
we want a rated R, which I would love a rated R Star Wars. I know why we're never going to get one. I would just love
This
it.
is PG-13, which I think is pushing it.
when
for Star Wars.
Dasney
The most,
Plus gets
yeah.
launched, yeah.
Dasney Plus, dude. Dadsney with a D, like
No,
DAD?
Dasney.
Oh,
but Dadsney
the
Plus.
knockoff.
It's weak, but it's really important.
Dad's Knee Plus. All the stories suck, but it's real fun to watch. Like a dad afternoon movie. Right?
John Favreau.
John Favreau's still in charge. No, I love
It's
this
the
chaos.
face off of Star Wars.
I want to take his face off. No more spice for that man. I love the chaos too because you got Lando's filming the chronicles of.
Dude, I love it. Him sitting in just chilling in the fucking Falcon, like the Calrissian Chronicles, Volume 5. Like,
yeah. And hey, if these exist somewhere, I want them. But
Yeah.
if not, so I don't know if you know that Lando is with Donald is supposed to get its own movie that has now been downgraded to a series.
Is it downgraded or upgraded? It all
So far,
depends on the
so far it's
quality.
downgraded. Obi-Wan Kenobi was supposed to be a movie.
Oh my god, I
The
love it.
series that we got was good. The movie would have been better. We'll save
I
that
just feel like we have-
conversation.
I love the
That's
series,
the thing.
sorry.
Is like, is it downgraded because I'm like, so in a movie you have maximum 2.5 hours for Star Wars, at least. We haven't seen a
Okay.
3-hour Star Wars.
Point taken.
You have maximum 2.5 hours to tell a story, whereas a series you have 8 hours.
Yeah, you
8
get
hours
into
of
the-
Lando Calrissian is better than 2.5.
Yeah, exactly.
So-
8 hours of Donald Glover in anything
Yeah.
is better than 2.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, again, the only things I've seen him in are things I really love him in, and even this movie, which isn't my favorite, he's great. But he's so like Community was one of my favorite shows up until the moment Donald Glover left, and I finished the whole thing. But once he left,
eh.
it's a much downgraded
Troy and
show.
Abed in the morning.
Yeah, without Troy, that show doesn't
No.
work.
It's special drink. It's hot chocolate we let get cool to room
You just
temperature.
had Clark Griswold
Griswold
racing me.
farting around.
yeah, you just have Chevy
Off
Chase and
freaking-
Abed yelling at each other.
Ugh. If I want to see Chevy Chase yell at a person of minority in color, I'll tune into his fucking live feed of Twitter.
You know what I did just watch the other day? My DVD or my Blu-ray of Caddyshack that I got from your Christmas party.
Oh yeah.
Well, that Whitney got from your Christmas party
Dude,
because I
good
wasn't
wife,
there.
good wife right there. By the
Yeah,
way,
you know, I went to work and I didn't own Caddyshack on Blu-ray, and I came home and I did.
we're
so-
doing that again for the next Christmas party. By the way,
So she won
Best
that,
idea.
but I watched that the other day, and I haven't seen it in years. And even knowing how big of a shithead Chevy Chase is, I watched that and I was like, I should probably go buy Fletch. Like that's how much it was.
love Fletch 1 and 2.
I just picked up Fletch and Fletch Lives
it's all ball
from
bearings these days.
Kino Lorber, but like just watching Chevy Chase in Caddyshack, I was like, God damn it, this dude is so funny.
You take drugs, Danny?
Even if he's
every
a shit,
day. Good for you.
good for you, dude. Anyway, that has nothing to do with this movie other than tangentially.
Yeah.
But Donald Glover is great, and I'll watch him. Dude, give him a fucking 20 episode series where every episode.
So it's supposed to be him and his brother writing it together.
If he's writing it, it's gonna be fucking good.
I can't wait to see it. I also have a little bit of apprehension that we're not going to see it. I don't know what he's done. I didn't look up his pedigree.
But I think they did Atlanta together.
then it's probably going to be perfect.
And Atlanta, I mean, I saw the first 2 seasons. Atlanta is
But
fucking
I don't know, man. I just have this
perfection.
apprehension that Disney's not going to want a black fucking lead Star Wars movie, even though they'd be wrong as fuck about it.
Even though Disney has this whole like forward facing thing about being super,
But it has
like,
to be under their
what
control.
the internet wants to call it woke.
Yeah.
Even though all they're doing is casting people who aren't white.
They watched Donald Glover's
Yeah.
This Is America video and they're like, well, I don't know about this.
But some of this movie felt woke in a good way, in a sense. I mean, you're thinking
Yeah.
about droids rebelling, and you're thinking about
But like Disney's thing is like people are giving them a shit about being too quote unquote woke, and that's a subsect of the internet that is not me.
No, but it's because sometimes it's forced. If it works, it works.
But Disney isn't doing it in the. Disney is just like, yeah, but that guy could have been white and now he's not.
But,
And it's like, well, that's not really woke.
but what's
That's just
the anti
casting
of this
someone
movie?
who's-
You're like, first you give gays and colored people rights, now you want to give robots rights. Like,
What's
what is
next?
the counter argument?
You're going to tell me my toilet's going to be mad I'm pissing in it?
Like my
You know-
Roomba needs to.
And I
get
feel like
heat.
all that stuff is new, but apparently it's not. I just watched a video on the internet yesterday of news interviews from the 80s when they first started passing drinking and driving laws,
Oh, I remember that.
and it was a bunch of people from somewhere in the South based on their accents.
It's like I don't have the right to have a couple of fucking beers before
Yeah.
I get home from
the
work.
guy's like,
I
I
agree
work
with
11,
this, guys.
12
You're
hours.
not gonna get me
and
on
I
this.
can't have a beer. But like the best part was there was a lady who's like, I can't have a beer while I'm driving. What is this going to be, Russia next? And I'm like, dude,
It's
you
a
need to
start,
calm the
guys.
fuck down.
that
I
same
agree.
lady's voting
This
for
is a
Trump.
start.
Not having a beer while you're driving is a real big jump to Russia. I'm just saying, like,
You take away my roadie, then it's Russia.
Next thing
guys.
you know, there's going to be Chinese in the neighborhood. If I can't drink and drive, the Chinese move in. Just
oh
saying.
wow, it's weird that you went Bush. It's not weird.
It wouldn't be prudent to have Chinese
Hey,
in my
wouldn't be
neighborhood.
prudent. If I can't drink and drive, whites won't survive. You
What was
heard it here.
the thing during Trump's election thing? He's like, "There's gonna be a taco truck on every corner," and I was like, "Yo, let's vote for whoever's name he's talking about."
Who's he talking about explicitly? Taco trucks on every corner. Sign me up.
Yeah,
Sign me
whoever
up.
you're
Give
talking
me
about,
John Kerry then.
whoever you're talking
Who
about,
is
I'm
it?
voting for him. Oh, it's Biden. It's
you
Biden.
fucked
I
up.
understand Biden's an idiot, but also I get taco
Yeah,
trucks.
he's an idiot that's gonna put taco trucks in every corner.
You're gonna put up a wall to stop these taco trucks? I'm not voting for you.
Yeah, I
still
holding my
don't-
breath on the taco trucks.
Yeah, I don't see a taco truck on every corner. I got to go out of my way for a taco truck, which is upsetting.
They should be finding me.
Biden.
You know what I need? I need
Welcome to
ice
Biden's
cream. I need
America.
it like ice cream trucks.
Yeah.
Driving around the neighborhood, playing like La Cucaracha, but like when they pull up, which is what most of the ice cream trucks play in Arizona, so I'm not being racist.
No.
They pull up and then you're like, I hear La Cucaracha, and you go outside and you're like, that's the taco truck, not the ice cream truck.
I will have 2 El Pastors, 1 carnitas.
Adobada.
You have, oh yeah.
Tell that baby, give me some carne.
And can I get my baby some salsa? Where are we in this? Oh, so it's the part that I hate because now they have this fucking rebellion, yada yada, and you got, like we had said earlier, fucking Lando Calrissian standing in front of Millennium Falcon with no cover. There is myriad amounts of mercenaries above him in the cliffs. Everyone has the high ground except him, and he's just standing out in the open. Plot
And
armor,
according
shoot.
to
Plot armor,
according to
shoot.
Star Wars, the high ground.
You should don't even try it. It's
Exactly.
over, Anakin.
Don't even try. I have the high ground.
But yeah,
you
so
piece
and
of
then
shit.
even fucking Han Solo joins, and they're doing this stylized like shoot 'em up. It is Western,
Well,
but
and it's
like,
also
hide
Han
behind something.
Han doing the full on Harrison Ford shoot.
Yes, arm
Like
back.
with the arm, one arm behind him, one arm forward,
Yes.
kind of crouching, shooting
I
out.
appreciate that. I appreciate that you did that much imagery.
The
But-
acting coach was like, "No, you put the arm
No, you
back
gotta
here.
go back here.
You
You're
extend
acting
your
uptight.
right.
when they're when
Thanks, I really needed
Han
that.
is trying to escape with all the unrefined coaxium, and it's like
If you didn't remember the name,
super
you didn't
unstable.
watch this enough.
It's super unstable or
You
whatever.
don't know what that blue shit is.
But I like Chewie rescues him because Chewie went off to save Wookiees that he saw.
Thin ass
oh,
little
dude,
Wookiees,
he's
dude.
not. So Han tells
They look
him,
like the cavemen from the Geico commercial.
Han's
Uh-huh.
like, "We are not fighting this battle. We're leaving right now." And Chewie's like, "No,
Go
way,
You
buddy."
are.
And he's like, "Okay." Han
that's the
gets
great-
it.
that's
He's
the
like,
good
Oh,
thing.
"Okay."
Exactly.
Easter egg. Anthony Daniels is somewhere in here.
Is he?
Yeah,
C-3PO?
I
but
saw-
not as C-3PO.
Oh, okay. I was like, I saw a
He's
gold robot walking
He's either one of
around.
the guards or one of the slaves. But
Okay.
yeah, it's definitely because you can't have 3PO or R2 in here.
I
One of the
saw,
only
I
movies they're
saw
not
a
in.
protocol droid at one of these scenes, and I wondered, but I was like, nah, it's just he's walking by the background.
Yeah, there's
so.
plenty of protocol droids.
Chewie grabs one of these guards who's coming at Han,
Dude.
and like he's throwing these dudes around. One of these dudes, he picks this dude up and just literally face plants him. I mean, he lifts this man and literally slams him onto his face
Yeah.
on the ground.
No, you got a verbal woo from me,
dude,
dude.
it is brutal.
Yeah, I like seeing Chewie go ham because, bless fucking Peter Mayhew, but the technology didn't exist to have Peter Mayhew picking people up with one arm and throwing them across
And
the room.
he's always
Yeah.
a gentle giant that can
For
destroy
sure.
shit.
yeah,
But
just
to see
don't
it-
don't try and beat him at chest, dude.
No, I mean like
No.
because most of the stuff you see in any movie, any action movie or anything of people throwing people looks a lot like you're watching professional wrestling, right?
Uh-huh.
It's like they throw someone, they land on their back, that kind of thing. This dude, and I mean, it's obviously CG assisted, but he just face first, neck bent backwards, like you're just like, ouch,
Yeah.
ow,
Very visceral, very well done. Looks realistic. as
yeah.
heck.
So L3 gets taken down
Fuck.
during this whole thing. She's still,
Liberation, boom.
yeah. And I love it. Lando tries to save her and he gets shot. So then we got Chewie,
Chewie picks up
carrying
him.
Lando, who's carrying L3.
Yeah.
It's a Russian nesting doll of hurt Star Wars characters.
And they get to the ship, and L3 ends up passing away as the ship gets away. I don't know if you say passing away about a robot.
She lost her power supply.
Okay, so you guys
She
are
powers
so
down.
frick this reverse plot into how it comes in.
Well, I don't,
No,
I
no,
don't
no, no.
mind. I don't mind the L3 getting into the system and stuff. There's some of the stuff, like I said, like the Chewie or the Solo.
The two
which are
I hate is the
cringy.
Han Solo name origin and Han Solo speaking
Okay.
the Wookiee language. I like almost everyone besides
Actually,
those.
putting L3 into the ship is really cool, because so they decide that they're
Especially
like,
saying what you said earlier, like 3PO's like, how rude. Like, yeah, that's Lando's fucking droid,
yeah,
dude.
exactly. And like Lando mentions that she has the greatest navigational database in the galaxy, which would explain why the Millennium Falcon is so good at what it does. Because Han is piloting it, but he's got this he's got this star chart in the system that's like everything.
The Empire wouldn't have this.
As soon as they load L3 in while they're in the Maelstrom, because that's so there's an Imperial blockade. The Star Destroyer in this like tunnel that goes through the Maelstrom is pretty fucking crazy.
Dope shot. I love it, dude.
And like
when you see the red swirling black hole.
Yeah, exactly. And
this
bail.
is the Venator class.
And they bail and they go into the Maelstrom.
They bail Organa.
And she
Sorry, go.
And once they get her loaded up, she starts mapping the Maelstrom, which is like, from what we can understand from what they've said so far, is pretty intense.
Yeah.
Because it's something that nothing can understand.
Well, you even see him go a little bit off, and he starts just like, I mean, luckily they have shields because he's getting hit by all kinds of debris as soon as he gets out of this main highway, I guess we'll call it. That makes sense. When he's being pursued by these TIE fighters, he goes off and it's just fucking rocks and shards. And like, you wouldn't survive too long there.
Because they say it's carbonbergs, which I'm assuming like icebergs made of carbon.
Carbonbergs.
That are crashing into each other.
It's like Underbergs, but for space, dude.
They really relieve you.
You got a nut set stomach, try Carbonbergs.
They show Han being like, oh shit, I made that. But like these ships are following him and they're much smaller than his, these TIE fighters.
TIE fighters also have much weaker shields.
Right, but like they're also more maneuverable. And he's making these maneuvers and barely making it because you can see him like, we're all good, guys. Don't worry about it.
Oh, by the way, we missed it because L3 is dying, or L7? L3. When L3 is dying, like, we got to get us out of here, dude. Like, let's fucking go. And Lando kind of gives a nod to Han, like, you do it. You know, and he sits down. It's like this moment when he sits at the controls, like, oh.
And the first person
I'm too shattered right now.
Kira
my
sits
lady
down.
droid.
Kira sits down to co-pilot with him.
Yeah.
And he's like, we need to punch this to this and do this. And she's like,
I need deflector shield to the front.
She's like, I'll definitely do that. And then Chewie reaches over and he's like, it's like this, you fucking
he
idiot.
punches like 12 buttons. He's like, boop, beep, boop, boop, boop.
I did
learn how
read
to
a thing.
fly?
So,
because this one says, this one says,
what's his name? Alden Ehrenreich. Apparently he was already a huge Han Solo fan.
So he copied the sequence?
Well, no. So he had a bunch of Han Solo toys and all this stuff. But the first day he came to set, he came with his Millennium Falcon, like, owner's guide. Like a piece of merchandise that had been released. It's a Millennium Falcon, like
blueprints.
What do they call it? Chilton. What are the books?
yeah, like the auto repair.
Yeah, I can't think of what they're called.
Notes
when you go,
I don't know what you're talking
No, when you
about.
go to like an auto shop, they have, I think
manual
they're called Chilton or something.
Yeah.
But they're auto repair manuals for every car that ever existed. He has one of those, but of the Millennium Falcon.
Dope.
So he brought it in and was like, okay, so when I'm pushing these buttons to do this, I need to do this and this and
He's
this.
like, this
and
is
they were
3173 model.
And basically, they were like,
manual.
cool, whatever you want, man.
Yeah.
Because he's looking at the Millennium Falcon like diagrams, and he's like, I need to push this, this, this. So he kind of knew what he was doing, which is it's cool to know that at least the person playing the character knew what they were doing. Because apparently, from what I read, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, when she tried out, didn't know that she was playing a robot.
Really?
And didn't know what a droid was. She'd never seen a Star Wars in her life.
That's insane, but she still kills it.
Yeah, so I guess she played it very human, and then they were like, okay, but I tried doing it like more like robot-y, and she's like, oh, droid is a robot, I get it. So she starts doing it, and then they're like, yeah, we like what you did before.
Yeah.
So her human performance makes that droid.
It adds to it a lot, which is why she's like, fucking liberation forever.
But Chewie takes over as the co-pilot, and I love Han is like, how the fuck do you know how to fly? And he just says some Chewie shit. Exactly. He's like, you're 190 years old. You look great.
Amazing. Jesus. Yeah, there's a theory online. It's like, what if Chewie just looked at Han as his pet? Because, I mean, the lifespan is very different.
Yeah. But during this escape scene, we do get like the original Star Wars theme,
which
is like, it's played into the score, but it's not as
it's not as jazzed. It's not as punched.
It's the only times that the score kicks in for me. It's the only time the score kicks in for me is when this guy whose name I forgot now, because who cares?
Yeah, Powell.
It's when this guy is stealing from John Williams. I mean, he's not stealing.
He's
Obviously,
covering.
It's part of the Star Wars score. Because it's come in before too when Han and Chewie do so. But when Han and Chewie sit down at the Millennium Falcon bridge together and start piloting, it kicks in full force. Like
I talked to my roommate. I was like, "This should be a big moment. Like I should be getting all the feels right
or it's
now."
as soon as they sit down, it's not the Imperial March, which I was doing.
It should, but it should be all the feels, and it's not. It's a watered down version of that at a big fucking moment.
Yeah,
I'm just never gonna be okay with you not using John Williams.
Yeah.
or at least like.
It's just- what is John Williams doing?
Well, also he also recorded this already.
Also,
Yeah,
by the
throw,
way,
throw an old recording.
You have the rights to this song. It's your
Slow
song
it up
now.
or speed it down. Throw one of his scores on this. Match it to the tempo.
I mentioned in a past episode that his son was the lead singer of Toto, who also did
Ewoks.
I mentioned before. I don't know why I'm drunk. I mentioned before that John Williams' son was the lead singer of Toto. Also did the Ewok song at the end of episode 6, right? Well, I just found out recently that he wrote and performed the Gummy Bears song from the cartoon, which my wife is obsessed with, which we've mentioned on Bad Movies, Worst People before. But he also was the person who did the singing for Simba, adult Simba, in The Lion King.
Matthew Broderick voicing.
Which I thought Matthew Broderick
Okay.
would have done the singing because he's a Broadway guy.
He's a
But
song and dance man.
At that point, maybe he had not been, because it was all this guy who is John Williams' son.
I got a theory, dude. They couldn't, because he's a Broadway guy. He wouldn't hold still. And like we can hear you tap dancing, Matthew. Just sing it. Hold the fuck
Matthew.
still and sing. I'm gonna be the main event like no king was before. I'm rushing. Shut the fuck up and hold still.
But I learned that literally the day of recording this, that he did the Gummy Bears song and he was the adult Simba singer.
Yeah, eat
Singer?
that, John Williams. I was in Toto.
Well, I mean, John Williams is still better.
I know.
But it's just John
Just
Wi-
imagine trying to tell your dad that. Dad, I don't know why you don't look at me the same, dude. I did the Gummy Bears theme song. I did the Ewoks theme song.
You know what, Dad?
I was in Toto.
You know what, Dad? Weezer never covered fucking Star Wars.
John Williams just quietly looks at him and goes, that would be my argument for everything. Like,
I'm not arguing that John Williams is better,
He is.
but the more I learn about, I think his name was Josh Williams.
Sure,
I want to
sounds
say
like it.
what the video told me. But either way, the more I learn about him, the more I'm like, well, apparently this guy was also a formative force in my childhood. So.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to start playing a Duel of Fates when I have sex. Just really punch up the bedroom, dude.
You're done already? The song's not. Hold on. I'm not leaving. I'm staying in until we're done.
I'm sitting here. I'm finishing my boner, dude.
I'm finishing my Duel of the Fates. But so anyway, they go through the storm and they're approaching what they're told is the Maw, and they end up turning on the lights and they see these big old creepy eyeballs. And Han is like, "Is that the Maw?" And Lando is like, "I don't know what the fuck that is."
But that is not
That's
the
not
Maw.
the
That's
Maw.
a living creature.
That's a living creature in a place where
That's
things
the
shouldn't
fucking
live.
Maw.
Yeah.
But Star Wars has been doing this recently, or more recent than George Lucas did, where they take space to be more underwater. There are things that could live out here. Look at Purgils in Ahsoka.
Yeah,
Like those
Well, they
space
do
whales.
mention early on in this, it's like the Maw or the Maelstrom has the Carbonbergs and whatever, and maybe vacuum breathing creatures that we don't know about.
Yeah.
So it is a throwaway line.
But
it is
that's what they
mentioned.
want. They want to
That are deep sea creatures looking.
exactly.
Exactly.
This is an anglerfish or a
You're
giant
dealing
squid.
with the most extreme pressure at this point. You,
Exactly.
Only you could handle this.
And pressure makes
the
diamonds.
Kraken, like only the freaking Kraken.
Just like
Yes.
episode 1, when they're like, we have to go through the planet's core, and then it says like the deeper they get, the bigger their creatures are, and I'm like, that's not how science works. But hey,
That's how they get more dangerous, though. Have you ever seen deep sea fish?
they get creepier looking. I'm pretty sure an
terrifying.
anglerfish isn't more dangerous than a great white shark,
Okay, he's got a valid point there.
but it's
guys.
got creepier teeth.
Yeah, it does.
Also, by the way, one of those creatures from episode 1, I don't know if it's the big one or one of the ones he eats, is what Dryden Voss is eating at the end of this movie.
Oh wow!
I
Oh,
saw it
okay.
in the IMDb trivia.
It was probably the biggest one because
he says
that's who
the
he
something
is.
something the caw fish
Uh-huh.
something. It apparently is from the Naboo planet core.
Checks out.
So it's one of them big old fish. He's like, you want to eat their babies?
Well fucking done.
I'm British and white. I'll eat your babies. But anyway, so they get through the maw and they find this creature, and it's like a big electrical squid, which is kind of a threat, except for there's also a black hole here,
There's a gravity well.
which they kind of lead it into. And this thing, it's kind of fucked up. I'm not going to lie. Like, this squid thing is being pulled into this black hole, and all it wants to do is eat your Millennium Falcon.
That's it.
Which
They
is-
just want it.
which is bad. Which is bad for the people on the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, it's you or me, homie.
But overall, like, this thing has been living in this vacuum for God knows how long, and this ship flies through and is just like, yeah, well, how about that vacuum hole, bitch?
I'm worried about this tiny speck.
Because this thing gets skinned by
Yeah,
this black hole.
it
Like,
does.
its flesh is pulled off, and it's just a skeleton getting sucked in at the end. But their thing is like, we have this coaxium. I think Kira says it. We have this coaxium. It'll help us. You know, it's enough to power a fleet. And Han's like, yo, that'll blow us up. We can put one drop into the reactor core.
It's nitrous oxide. It's space
Yeah.
nitrous, dude.
You know
Fucking
what?
Vin
Once they
Diesel's
get
back there. You got to double
Exactly.
clutch.
Once fucking once Woody Harrelson gets back there with the thing, it literally does a Fast and Furious nitrous shot. Like, it shows the thing go in, but also they say one drop. and
Lucas is like,
this dude's got a fucking
That's exactly as I imagined it.
Yeah.
Hot rod
Rods,
space.
Hot rods.
Fast and Furious stole it from me. It's a
I was the
coaxium.
original NO2 man.
I had an idea for an Ewok spinoff called Fast and Furious, but they stole it.
I
and I'll
know
never
that
get
movie
over it.
came out before this one, but this movie takes place before that one. So
Suppose it didn't
checkmate,
come
bitch.
out.
Happened in a galaxy far, far away a long time ago. Give your Vin Diesel's balls a tug.
You tit fucker. But yeah, that's
Sure is
that's
the
literally my
evolution. I
note.
love
It's-
it.
That's literally my note is Fast and Furious nitrous shot.
Oh, I'm glad I got there.
And they have this butthole puckering escape. Like, you know they're gonna make it.
That's the problem with this because we know that with Chewie and Han can't die. We just
The
know
Millennium
that.
Falcon's got to get out. Chewie,
Yeah.
Han, Lando.
Oh, and
they all
Lando,
have to.
yeah.
They all have to live. But it's still a butthole pucker because it's like that pulling back on the ship, and the thing is closing. And
It
he's
is
like
ripping
and
panels off.
And I love that he's like, you remember that alleyway back on Coruscant or Corellia?
Corellia.
And she's like, yeah, I remember it didn't work out so well. He's like, yeah, it'll be fine this time. So I mean, even though you know it's got to work out,
And it reminds
It
me
is
of an
a
old
good
school one
tension
when they're
moment.
escaping in episode 5 or 6 when they're escaping a planet with a monster they're in like the mouth.
Oh,
of it,
it's
pretty
episode
much.
5 when they're in the,
Yeah,
When they're on the-
asteroid.
the
so it's
asteroid.
very callback to that.
Yeah.
Like a full-on
Agreed.
monster.
Something we missed, but it doesn't matter. It was when the TIE fighters are chasing him. He's like, I've got an idea for a maneuver. I learned this from my buddy Needles, the best street racer in Corellia. Up until the day he died doing this maneuver.
yeah.
But anyway,
that's
Good
a good
delivery
one.
too, like doing this
Yeah,
maneuver.
it's where Alan is all of a sudden like, all right, I like this.
It's that slow unfolding of the line. He was the best street racer until he died.
doing this maneuver.
Let's go for it.
And it works because we can't have Hyundai. I always say, dude, the Force the Force is a big living entity, right? Like Han Solo is obviously not a fucking Jedi,
The Force exists, man.
but the Force loves a fool. And I think the Force has always looked out for Han a little bit,
Yeah.
you know? Like luck. Luck is a thing that's an intangible element that the Force loves a fool.
Stay
Yeah.
tuned for the Destiny podcast. It's about fate and destiny and wider
Or the Fallout
worlds.
podcast where you have luck as one of your stats.
Follow me for my new podcast called Force Myself Upon You.
But they finally get to this planet, whatever it's called, Cerelia. Is that right?
Yeah. This is new to me.
He's telling the guy, he's calling them. He's like, "We've got some shit that needs to be unloaded right now because it's about to explode." But he's telling
This
them
is fucking Top Gun. We're requesting a flyby. Negative Ghost Rider. The pattern is full. Ew.
But I love he tells the guy, he's like, "We're here right now." And then when he's getting out of the ship and they're unloading the coaxium, he's like, "Hey, I just did the Kessel run in 12 parsecs."
Unimpressed.
The guy doesn't give a fuck, and that's when Chewie's like, "Meh," and he's like, "Round down."
Easy now.
According to the trivia I read, which is apparently an EU thing, it was 12 and a half. And he's like, just round it down. It sounds better that way.
Get that half out of here. Let's just talk about penis size. Nobody cares about a half.
And that's when Lando also tells him, because he's looking at his ship, which is just dilapidated at this
Oh
point.
man, it limped
It,
in.
it like lands and it crashes down and like the landing gear's gone and Han walks up to him and he's like, I hate you. And Han, I know.
I will be in my ship, in my quarters, waiting for you to give me my share. And then I
Yes.
don't want to see you ever again.
Yeah.
And they gonna be
Great.
friends. Y'all, they gonna be friends.
He's talking to Kira and basically she's like, hey, I gotta stay here with Dryden. I can't go with you. Like, I know I've kind of led you on this whole time, but go fuck yourself.
Yeah. There's no
And-
future.
Yeah, and he's like, but I'm not a good guy. You can go with me. I'm not good.
I'm a bad
I'll
guy,
never do
babe.
anything good. I'm an outlaw.
Yeah.
I'm a loner, Dottie. A rebel.
And we get Enfys Nest again, cornering them after Woody Harrelson asks for brandy.
Yeah, the first time we see American or English Earthling liquor mentioned that I'm aware of. Maybe I'm wrong, but we never hear like
This is
beer.
the first
We
time
never
I
hear
can think of.
brandy. We never
Supposedly
hear
heard of beer early in the movie. So.
Well, like I said, he might have
Derek
said
thinks
beer,
so.
but-
Derek
Sir
had
Derek thought so.
Derek had
That might
beer
have
on
just
the
been
brain.
me thinking, man, I need a beer.
Yeah.
I'm watching this movie again.
It's The
damn it.
Simpsons. Yeah, I need a beer too. Yeah, me too. We should get beer. All right, calm down, guys. We'll all get beer.
But we see Enfys Nest now. She unmasks herself, and it's the actress's name
It's
is
a woman.
Erin Kellyman. I don't think it was because it was a woman. I think it's because it's like a child.
It is a young woman,
Yeah, and I don't know
She's
how old
18
she is.
probably, but,
but
she looks
I-
like a.
I
but she's
recognized
definitely
her. I recognized her right away. She's in the Marvel,
the Sam and Bucky.
Falcon and Winter Soldier series.
You've
she's-
never seen
She's
that.
also in
Nope.
the Green Knight, which is a really cool A24 movie.
Ooh, I own that one. I've tried to get you to watch
Green
it,
Knight
but
you've
your
talked
wife
about
had no
yes,
part of it.
okay, I will.
Yeah,
We'll get there.
It's a really good A24 movie. She also is in the Willow series. She's one of the main.
But don't hold that
adventurers.
against her, folks.
And I like Han is trying to like bullshit her, and he's like, we have 30 hired guns on that ship right there, and they're gonna surround you.
Like that.
Fucking Lando gone. He's like, nope. This
And
is
he
going
takes a
south.
step back. He's like, all right, go ahead. You try, Woody. But
Yeah,
this
because
is,
Woody Harrelson was about to say something,
uh-huh.
and he's like, no, I got this. I got this. We've got 30 people. All right, you've got this.
I almost wanted I almost want another callback to the detonator. I got a detonator in this arm. Dude, that's a fucking rock. You just clicked with your mouth. But yeah, it doesn't work. But we get a quick little exposition dump about how Enfys Nest, they're not just bad people.
They're not marauders.
Yeah.
They're allies from different planets that the Empire or Crimson Dawn have.
Do you know what they
taken.
are? They're the seedlings of a rebellion.
Exactly, because she says that towards the end, right? We're starting a rebellion.
Well, to that point, though, there's a character in this that you might recognize from Rogue One.
Warwick Davis. Is he in
No,
there?
well, Warwick Davis might be as well, but his name is Two Tubes. Is the nickname. I'm gonna
Okay,
show
I've
you-
seen that guy before.
I was gonna
I know who
say-
you're talking about. He's the weird looking alien with the two tubes. Yeah.
Yeah. So somebody saw Rogue One and was like, well, I want this guy to be in here as well, because this takes place before Rogue One.
Yeah.
Released after. Weird shit.
So I've definitely seen this alien before.
So he's in Saul Guerrera's group, like the very militant rebellion.
Yeah.
That was not part of the rebellion because they were too cutthroat. That Mon Mothma's like,
I
"No,
guess
no, no,
there's
no."
a whole thing about this where these are supposed to be connected to Saul Guerrero's group.
Yeah, they become Saul Guerrero. I bet you what happens is Enfys Nest dies, and Saul Guerrero's like, well, that was tragic, and now you're my people, and we're going to hit him hard. Because Saul Guerrero's group was terrorists. Like the rebellion,
Okay, so-
rebellion was freedom fighters. Saul Guerrero did some shit where they bombed innocent people, empirical people, but innocent people.
But
Yeah.
this was like the start of the rebellion then, whereas where it's like terroristic after that.
Yes.
Saul Guerrero is Forrest
Incels.
Whitaker's
Yes,
character.
Forrest Whitaker's
Yeah.
character in Rogue One is Saul Guerrero.
Yeah, he's full on like, and that's
He's,
one of
his
the
mentality is fuck them, fuck all of them.
that's one of the things that always makes me laugh about Star Wars and other things.
Lies.
Is everybody always
Deception.
cheers for the rebellion or like the under people, but then half of those people are like in real life are like, I mean, the stormtroopers aren't that bad.
I mean, as a person, you weren't that bad. You're following orders.
But I mean, in real life, people are like, the rebellion's great, and then in real life, the rebellion starts, and they're like, well,
Yeah. In real life, it's like I'm kind of on the side
So
of
like
this-
normal society, you're saying?
yeah,
Yeah,
something in the real world,
like hashtag Stormtroopers Lives Matter. It's the thin white line.
white lives matter. What? I mean, stormtroopers.
White armor life matters.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
But yeah, we do see Warwick Davis here as one of the people who's apparently credited as Weasel, although we don't get the name.
Yeah.
but he's
With
one
a
of
Z
he's
I saw on the
with a Z.
Because
Wow.
it's in space.
Yeah.
Duh.
Wow.
Space Weasel.
Go on.
What year
But-
is this? Fuck.
So Han starts telling Woody Harrelson his plan, which we don't see on screen. He's like, I've got a plan. And we cut back to Kira being like, he's going to help you. I wouldn't worry about it. He's a
Yeah.
good guy. Fuck
Yeah.
him.
He's out for himself. He always has been.
Yeah. And Beckett's like, yeah, I'm not in. He leaves. So Han and Chewie take the coaxium up to Dryden Voss's lair. And you see right away when he pulls the lid off, because Dryden Voss wants to see a sample of this. You see a blaster hidden, the Han blaster.
We do.
Yeah.
They don't.
Hidden inside the lid of this thing, which I'm like, it's a pretty good plan.
It is. It's a pretty solid plan.
It's a good plan if Woody Harrelson wasn't a piece of shit.
Turns out he is.
But also, Han predicted that, right?
It's a good performance too, though, because even fucking Dryden Voss is like, man, this looks really good. How did you do it? And he's like, well, we robbed the. He's like, no. This fake looks really good. How did you make this look so
Yeah.
good?
Good
He's
observation.
like, what are you
by
What are
Biden.
you talking about? It's a fake. My informant already told me. He's like, well, I don't know what Kira told you. No, not Kira. Kira has a weak spot for you. We'll deal with that later. I'm talking about my man. Come on in, show me Beckett.
Beckett, he's
Tobias
my inside
Beckett.
man.
5'11", coming in 195 pounds.
He's been bald since 1991, but he looks great.
and I love it because he's like brings him in like it's a big thing. But then Han,
I was paying attention.
yeah, I expected you to be a piece of shit. So
Uh-huh.
I told you my plan, but
But
it's
the
not
big
my
reveal,
plan.
like everybody's accounted for except for Tobias Beckett. Like when they're like, who could it be? Get off the elevator. Well, there's Chewie. There's Kira. There's Han. There's like
They have a crew of like 4 right now.
who the
Lando's
fuck?
gone.
Who the fuck could this be?
Exactly. And they do have like a bunch of Dryden Voss's goons surround what you think is Enfys Nest and her people,
Uh-huh.
but really she ambushes them from the back.
Didn't notice it the first time, but like watching it again, I was like, oh, that lady's hands are old.
Yeah.
You old.
So they surprise ambush them. He surprises ambushes fucking Dryden Voss kind of, but like it's funny because
Beckett does it in a good way.
Beckett's the one who's like, wait, hold on.
All your
So
security
this is the
forces
real-
down there?
All your security's down there, and this is the real coaxium. Cool. And he kills Voss's guards, and he's like, look, I'm just thinking, but I like to be the only one with a gun while I'm thinking.
Oh, no, make sure you use the word blaster.
Blaster.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, you'd be right in this Earth, but over there, he's like, yeah, I'm thinking, and when I do that, I like to be the only one holding the blaster. So shut the fuck up,
He takes the coaxium with Chewie, because Chewie's got to be the one to carry it.
because he's a big fucker.
Han and Dryden have a little fight here. This is where Han shoots out one of the crystal skulls. Maybe it's a subtle thing. Maybe it's not.
Yeah,
I like to think it is.
I'd like to think so.
Kira interferes on the behalf of Dryden at first, but then she's like, I'm your biggest weakness, and she turns her sword to Dryden.
But instead of stabbing him in the throat, like you got the drop on this dude, you slice his wrist. Come on, death blow, dude.
Yeah. So
This
then
is
they
all
have
new to me. Sorry, guys. This is all new to me.
I checked out at this point. My wife was chatting me up.
so they have a little fight, and she ends up killing Dryden.
Oh, the style of fighting they do, I think it's called Achanti, is you can see like Han's got a gun and still can't hit Dryden Voss.
Oh, so
In the
just-
comics, Kira was able to go toe to toe with Darth Vader when he wasn't using the Force. As soon as he used the Force,
well, she
done.
does mention
Done.
the type of martial arts she was trained in.
I think it's
which is-
Achanti.
But it's just like
It's a
deflector,
fictional
deflector,
martial
boom.
arts, but it is like it has like a real translation. I think it's Polish for
Yeah.
like steel sword or steel arm or something
Yeah.
like that.
It just shows that they're both badasses, and probably taught to him by Darth Maul. Now that we're getting there,
But she kills Dryden Voss with his own blade,
Uh-huh.
which is pretty
Darth
cool.
Maul's in this?
Darth Maul's in this.
Damn.
She takes her sword, which has the gap in the middle, and catches his little dagger, and then jabs him with his own
It's
dagger.
the weirdest way to use a sword to hold a dagger to stab somebody.
It's pretty cool though.
It's the weirdest. I like it. Not saying I don't like it.
And then she tells Han, you need to go after Beckett and Chewie to save Chewie. So he leaves, and that's when she talks to Darth Maul.
Because
which
she
we
even
already
says, like,
kinda
I'm just
covered.
going to gather some of these treasures so we can
Yeah,
buy our ship,
we don't have
babe.
the coaxium to help buy our ship, so I'll take some of these jewels.
Look at all this money. There's fucking shit everywhere.
But really, she's just fucking him. She talks to Maul, and she's like, I don't know what happened. Dryden's dead. I guess I'm in charge now. And Maul's like, here's the thing, I don't care.
Nice.
You get to Dathomir. We're going to fucking train you. You're going to be my fucking main bitch.
Yeah,
bottom
exactly.
bitch.
So Han goes after Beckett and Chewie, and he ends up catching them. And Kira leaves while they're talking about the coaxium. And this is kind of one of the biggest
Beckett
moments.
says, though, at one point, he's like, you still don't get it. It was never about you. She's a survivor.
Yeah.
Like, this whole thing wasn't her trying to, like, make it with you. It was trying to advance.
And this is one of the biggest moments because he just keeps talking and talking and talking. And Han just shoots him right in the fucking chest.
I'm going to give you the final lesson. And it's the most important lesson. And bam! And he's like,
sorry.
Beckett's like pontificating, but trying to like, I'm gonna raise up on you.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull that smoke
And
first.
definitive fucking evidence. Han shoots first. Like this is
where he learned it.
This is Disney walking back George
And
Lucas.
it was
Like,
based on that burn from
Han-
Beckett in the OG.
Han didn't
in the
shoot
OG,
first.
Like, don't trust anyone.
Yeah, don't
Number
trust
one
anybody.
Fucking rule, and here it goes.
Yep.
Yeah, it turns out I was listening.
And he even says, like, as he's dying, he's like, smartest fucking move you ever made.
Yeah, because I
kid."
would have killed you.
Yep, I was on my way.
And it is a sad like death scene. He's like, I was gonna learn to play that fucking harpsichord or whatever the fuck he says.
Yeah, it's not a harpsichord. There's another word for it, but
It's
yeah,
a space
Derek's right.
harpsichord.
Essentially, what he said was, "I want to go back to New York and play jazz piano, but I have some debts to pay before I get there."
Exactly. and he's sad, but he also understands he earned this death.
And this could have been the end of the movie, and I would have been fine.
This could have very much been the end.
But
of the
what
movie
comes
under-
after, I'm glad we get.
We get it because it does explain where Han gets the Falcon
and it's like,
from.
and also, dude, did you fucking catch this
It is
shirt
such a
that
great-
Lando Calrissian's wearing?
Dude, when
My
Han pulls up
God.
on this planet,
Oh.
when Han pulls up on this planet, Lando Calrissian has this wide open fucking shirt,
It is
and
a
he
yellow-
is hitting on this space lady.
It is a yellow, like long sleeve, whatever the Hawaiian shirt version is in Star Wars. Like I can't think of a beach planet right now, but Camino. It's a
whatever
Kaminoan
whatever
fucking
planet
shirt.
Rogue One, the end of Rogue One happens on. That's all beaches.
Scarif.
Scarif?
Yeah,
That's
Scarif.
all
All right.
beaches.
There
So
you
it's
go.
a Scarif style long sleeve shirt
Record
with like
this, Disney.
with like fucking
Write
manta
it
rays
down.
on it. That's why I think it's Kaminoan because they have those flying manta rays. Anyway, he looks great, and now he sees the what'd you call it earlier, like the Wild West
Yeah, the little Wild West
hidden
card
card
holder
thing. Han sees it. He's like, "That's how you fucking beat me, you piece
And
of
I do
shit."
like this because the first time we ever saw Lando, he confronts Harrison Ford and he's like, "You son of a bitch." And it looks like he's going to punch him and he ends up
You
hugging him.
scoundrel, you.
And so here, Han does the same thing. He's like, I should fucking have Chewie rip your
You know what?
fucking arms
Do it.
off. And he's like, no, we're friends, right? We're friends. And he hugs him. But at this point, he's also pickpocketing him and taking that hidden card out of his fucking pocket.
No, but I didn't even think about the episode 5 thing. Like, yeah, that's exactly Lando kind of puts his dukes up, and he's like, "Nah, hug me." Same thing here.
Exactly.
People are watching Star Wars before they make a Star Wars. Thank you.
So they have a Sabacc rematch. And at the end, when Lando's going to cheat, as he always does, it turns out the card's not there. And I love Han's line of like, "You got everything you need over there?" And he's like,
Yeah.
"Yes."
And he throws down what it was apparently was a pretty
It
good
looks
hand.
like a good hand.
Because everybody's like, "Ooh."
Yeah. But then Han has a better hand because and I feel like this qualifies you because first he's like, "Wish you would have had this fucking bullshit card right," and then he puts out his hand. So he's showing he has a hidden
So,
card.
but that's the thing. Nobody here gives a shit because in the first game, you'd be like, "Hey, he's cheating
Yeah.
because I know all 4 queens were already played and he pulled a queen. There's no one to go to." And now all of a sudden you're like, "This ace would have been great, wouldn't it?" It's like, but where did you get that ace?
exactly.
Bitch, I got full sabacc.
The trump card, all right, guys?
Only thing that beats a full sabacc is Idiot's Array. In case you didn't know.
Oh, now I know.
So he gets the Falcon from him fair and square,
Fair and
as he
square.
says in episode
Very
5.
fair and square.
And he's like, "Hey, I heard about this guy who's pulling a job on Tatooine, big boss, setting up the next movie, right?"
But it's not the only time he works for him. Because when we get to episode 4 and Jabba's like, "Yo, you owe me money," he's like, "Dude, come on, you know I'm good for it. I've done plenty of jobs for you." So he does successfully work for Jabba.
I've done
before
plenty of
being-
Jabbas.
I've done plenty of Jabbas. Check out my Jabba resume.
And that's it for this movie.
Yeah.
Eventually. So you haven't been on here before, Ryan, for Hunt Took Shots First. We do a 5 lightsabers rating. So what
Okay.
would you give this? And you're allowed to do halves. We call them Yoda sabers.
I'll give it 3.5. So I'll give it 3.5. I thought this was I was not.
He might bump that up to a
something.
4 if he watches it without his wife.
I might. Yeah. So on the 2.5 watch, no, liked it much more than when it came out. I'm a big fan of this. I'll give it 3.5s.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it 3.5, and it's actually getting closer to 4 because of the beautiful Star Wars moments it has. The more you watch it, the more you can ignore like the okay, cool, Han Solo cheesiness. Like the name Solo is dumb. But there's a lot of shit in here I love, and it's beautiful. Like it's mostly beautiful. So yeah, closer to 4, but three in a Yoda.
I'm gonna do 3, just because we gotta have room to grow,
Yeah,
and there's some stuff later that's
that's why I
good,
wear
but not
2XL
great.
shirts.
That's why I just have to keep having to buy new shirts. Keep drinking all this beer.
Yeah,
But I'm gonna give it 3. But I enjoy it. Like I said, when I first watched it, I was like, "This movie's great. What are people talking about?" And then it was years. It was only weeks ago that I finally watched it again, and I was like, "Yeah, I
but
can
then
see
you
the
came
cracks."
back a little bit more. So.
Yeah, you give it another rewatch, and it's like, okay, I can see the cracks, but also I can see where they're
Here's
filling
the
in the
thing
cracks.
that is speaking to it and against it. It doesn't have a lightsaber in it, and I still like it.
They also never say the word Jedi.
Yeah.
Or Skywalker.
So those things should be against it. Where it's like when I'm watching a Star Wars movie, I want a lightsaber, right? No, this and Rogue One have proven we don't always need a lightsaber.
Well, we get a lightsaber in Rogue One.
Yes, 10 seconds, but it's a great 10 seconds. But anyway,
What is it? I'm one with the Force and the Force. Or I'm with the Force and the
one with
Force
the
is
Force
with
Do
me.
we not
with
even
me.
get a dual bladed by?
Oh, you
Darth?
know what? We do
yeah.
get a lightsaber.
Yeah, we
because
do because he does the
lights it
force
up.
pull towards him. He ignites it. It's such a weird flex. Like we're gonna be working closely.
It's really
Put it
weird.
down,
it's
Darth.
really weird too because you can really see his red makeup, and then he lights up his red lightsaber, and he just looks brown.
Oh,
And his hollow
when
message.
Dryden Voss dies, that's the first time I noticed. This time, his scars are flesh color. They're flesh color, and then later when she grabs his ring, they're almost blue.
Yeah,
So that's when I was like, oh, they're not actually scars, and I had to look it up because it's
Yeah.
not something I knew. Yeah, whatever near human he is, that's kind of their thing. But yeah, fun fucking movie, dude. I will watch this again. Maybe not hero dosing on mushrooms, but I'm not gonna say it hurt.
So our next chronological episode of Han Took Shots First will be Obi-Wan Episode 1.
And we're gonna do 2 episodes per recording, or no?
I love it.
We'll see how that
I
goes.
love it.
Okay.
I love it. I love it.
Maybe it'll be
I
2
Well, we'll have
episodes.
Ryan back. For
It'll definitely
Obi-Wan,
be 2
'cause-
episodes for people who have subscribed to the Bad Movies Worst People Patreon at
Okay.
patreon.com/worstpeople.
Yeah, way to edge him.
Because
just edging
there you
everybody.
get these episodes early and complete versus here where you'll get them a little later and maybe split up depending on how long they are, especially like
Pay
episode 1 and
get some
2.
Good content.
Pay
motherfucker.
exactly. Pay $3, you get some shit. It's great.
Yeah. This dude's on the podcast and a Patreon.
Yeah, get some good content. Come on.
He has to pay $3 to listen to his own fucking voice.
Just subscribe to Han Took Shots First on whatever platform you're listening to, and you'll find out what you're listening
I
to
follow
this
it on
week.
Instagram for the memes alone.
Yeah, and we're on Instagram. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Spotify or Apple Podcast or wherever you listen. Rate and review. Like I said, patreon.com/worstpeople. You can also check us out at HanTookShotsFirstPod.com, HanTookShotsFirstPod on Instagram, HanTookShotsFirst@gmail.com. Send us an email. Tell us why we're wrong about everything we're saying and how this movie is the best movie you've ever seen. I would love to read it on the air.
Yeah.
So, thank you to Ryan for joining us today for this
And-
episode
My
and
pleasure.
for supplying our music for all of
My
Han
pleasure
Took
as
Shots
well.
First.
It's our pleasure. A fucking fat beat, dude. Are you kidding me?
That'll be it for this episode. I'm Derek.
I'm Ryan.
I have no one. I'm solo.
I hate you.
I know.
And that'll be it. Good God, I'm
Dude,
drunk.
what was that? That'll be all. That'll be all.
I got drunk. I got drunk fast.
That'll be all.
That'll be it for this
It
episode.
still sounds weird.
That will be it.
That will be it. That'll be it.
Look, that'll be it, you guys, for this episode.
Give my balls a tug, tit fucker.
The shorts you bring back.